at war with Iran. Israel has forced America into this war. We've attacked with Israel. Israel says that they've struck 500 sites within Iran. 57 young kids being killed already, at least. They struck an elementary school in the middle of Tehran, killed at least 57 kids. The full casualties might be about 63 people, 92 injured. They claim that they've killed the Ayatollah. The Iranians say that isn't true. Will Trump be held accountable? Will they use the War Powers Act? All those updates are coming up. Look, of course, when we get to Showtime, which is at 6 o'clock Eastern every night, Monday through Friday, right? So Monday at 6, we'll have every piece of detail for you guys. And by that time, there'll probably be a lot more mayhem as well. But for now, let me give you all the updates I have, and they are a lot. A U.S. Navy base has been hit in Bahrain. It looks like for the moment being, luckily, we didn't lose anyone yet. So Israel has also been hit, but barely. By one missile has gotten through. Of course, our bases are unprotected. Israel has Iron Dome. No, I'm not talking about Mark Levin's head. And so they are very, very protected. Nevertheless, there's tons of articles about, are the Israelis okay? The poor guys started a war. I mean, the 57 dead girls in an elementary school in Tehran, not as big a deal. But they're like, oh my God, there's air sirens over Israel. I can't believe they started a war. And they're slightly nervous about it. Is Israel okay? I don't really care about whether Israel's okay or not because they started this war. And I've been told for the last 2 years by the Israelis, if you start a war, then it's everything after that is your fault. And if your country is annihilated and almost every building is destroyed and 100,000 people are killed, it's totally fine. You started the war. That's what I heard from Israel for the last 2 years. No problem in obliterating Gaza and the innocent civilians there because, hey, you started the war. I mean, the occupation doesn't count. The fact that we didn't get there for 6-7 hours, whatever, that was super weird, even though Israel's a tiny country. All right, put all that aside. We know what their ideology is. So now, of course, if you apply that to Israel, they'll say, how dare you? The Israelis are superior to everyone. We do not have the same standard. We do not have to follow international law. We don't have to abide by the rules of war crimes and genocide. And we can attack any country we want. And we demand 100% sympathy, no matter how many wars we start, and no matter how many of your congressmen we buy and your presidents that we buy. And of course, the Israeli lobby bought their way into this war. Everyone telling you otherwise is 100% lying to you. They have given to 94% of Congress when there's an enemy that they identify, whether it's Marjorie Taylor Greene or Thomas Massey. They spend millions of dollars trying to drive them out of Congress or on the left. Oh, my God, the results there are unbelievable. They spent $19 million against Jamal Bowman, over $10 million against Cori Bush, $4 million against Nina Turner, Marie Newman, Andy Levin, you name it. Anyone who forget saying, don't give money to Israel anymore. But at that time, that wasn't even on the table, right? Guys like Andy Levin in Michigan, a Democratic congressman there, all he said was two-state solution. The Palestinians should also be free. They're like, eliminate him. No one is allowed to think Palestinians are human, and no one's allowed to dispute Israel. And that's what happened, guys. That is 100% what happened to drive us into this war. Okay, so now our Navy base got hit, totally unprotected. Iranians are not just striking back at Israel, but obviously they're trying to hit our bases because we attacked them. I hope they are unsuccessful, but I am worried. I am worried that they're going to be successful at some point. So let me give you some updates on that. U.S. military facilities, including the Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, have been hit. Ali Al Salam Air Base in Kuwait or targeted. El Dhafra Air Base in United Arab Emirates and the U.S. 5th Fleet headquarters in Bahrain, and that one was hit. Israel, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia were also hit in the attacks on Saturday. If you're wondering, wait, why are they hitting these other Arab countries? Because, A, that's where our bases are. So they want to try to get our troops because we're literally in the middle of killing them. And I'm going to show you about how we're bragging about how we might have killed their, most of their leadership already. So So of course, when you get into a war, they counterattack. And so that's what we're worried about. We're not like, I'm definitely worried about the people of Iran getting killed for no reason. I'm worried about war overall. I'm worried about deaths. I'm worried about the 57 girls that were killed. Uh, and by the way, now there are protests all across the world. We've got protests coming up here in America today. I'll talk about the congressional fight back, like a smidge of it in a second. In Pakistan, the Shia Muslims are all over the streets. Iran is basically the head of the Shia movement in Islam. That is one of the two main branches, and so they're furious about it. Bahrain's capital, Manama, was targeted this evening, and some of their buildings were hit because these are our so-called allies, and I say our so-called allies because they largely work for the Israelis, and that is why Iran is targeting them because they're allowing strikes against Iran from those bases, and they're basically
We're basically in World War III. That's what it is. They say they never announce when we're in a war. Uh, they talk about when it's over. So